Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to review a piece of gear that I bought 2 or 3 years ago and I use quite often. I meant to do a review of it when I bought it, but I just never got around to it. So what I'm going to talk about today is the Chubby Buttons 2.0. So what this thing is a wearable Bluetooth remote control for your phone. So what it is it allows people who are doing winter sports like snowboarding or skiing to strap this thing around their arm on the outside of their jacket, so then they're easily able to control the music on their phone or their podcast on their phone. Because you can imagine if you're out in the middle of a mountain and you're snowboarding and you want to change tracks, you want to change the volume, you're probably going to have to pull out your phone, take off your mitts, and control it that way. What this thing allows you to do, because the buttons are chubby, as the name implies, it allows you just to reach over to your arm, leave your mitts and your gloves on, and control, the basic functions of your music and audio on your phone through these buttons. Really easy. So it's super handy. So when I bought it, I didn't actually buy it for snowboarding. I do snowboard a lot, but I didn't buy it for that particular reason. What I actually bought it for was for my winter bike commuting to the office. So I live on the Canadian prairies, and in the winter it gets pretty cold and it gets pretty snowy. So I like to, during my commute, it's about 11 kilometers one way. What I like to do is listen to a podcast or listen to some music. And controlling that audio, while I'm biking is just me. I thought it'd be super handy to have something like this that I could not have to stop and deal with pulling my phone out. So even though I did initially buy it for my winter bike commute, I then started to use it when I go snowboarding, and it's been super handy for that as well. The reason it didn't interest me at first for snowboarding was because I typically ride with someone all the time, so I'm not usually listening to music, or that's what I thought. But once I started, thinking about it, when I was on the mountain, I would start the music when I'm about to drop in, and that was super handy, just having the ability to hit that play button on this device. So that's been super cool. So the Chubby Buttons connects to your phone via Bluetooth, not to your headphones. So it doesn't matter what type of headphones you're using or what type of audio device you have connected to your phone. You can actually control the audio through the Chubby Buttons, and there's no compatibility issues that way. So when I'm riding my bike in the winter, I actually wear a snowboarding helmet. And the snowboarding helmet I have has little slots in the ear cups that allows you to drop in wireless speakers. So I have these things called the Outdoor Tech Chip to wireless drop-in speakers that are made just for that purpose. And I actually did a review on those right after I got them, and it's probably a little bit old now. It's 3 years, maybe 4 years ago that I did that review, so you can check that out if you want. So what I really like about them is because they're sitting, away from your ear and not inside your ear like traditional, earbuds, I get a lot of ambient sound from around me. So when I'm riding my bike, I definitely want to hear ambient sound. I don't want to have, completely be zoned out from my surroundings because that can be dangerous. So the thing with my bike commute is it is about 95% on shared path or on single track. But the thing is that it's out in the open. There's no real blind corners. There's not a lot of trees. So I feel fairly comfortable and safe having audio playing while I'm riding my bike because, there's no chance of anyone just popping out of nowhere in front of me that I wouldn't hear that might cause an accident or something like that. So if you're definitely, if you're riding on single track and there's lots of blind corners, lots of trees, that type of thing, and there's two-way traffic especially, highly recommend not listening to any type of audio, regardless of how much ambient sound comes in. So pairing the Chubby Buttons with your phone is pretty easy. It's just like pairing any other Bluetooth device with your phone. So you just have to put the Chubby Buttons into pairing mode, which you do by just holding down the volume down and the previous track button for about 5 seconds, and then it'll go into pairing mode. Once it's in pairing mode, you just go into your phone's Bluetooth settings and connect, and everything should start working. There's no on or off button on the Chubby Buttons. It just goes into idle mode when you're not using it. And as soon as you hit a button on the device, it'll automatically repair with your phone and you're good to go. At first, I missed having an on and off button just so I knew that it was powered down and I wasn't going to be wasting any battery. But after using it for a while, I got pretty used to the way it worked. And then if it is idle for a very long time, I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but it goes into a deep sleep, and that's just there to help preserve the battery. So speaking of batteries, the Chubby Buttons does not have a built-in rechargeable battery. Instead, it takes a flat style watch battery. I guess that's how I usually describe them. And there's a little place on the back here. There's a little cover right here. And that's where you pop it off and you stick the battery in there. So at first I was a little bummed that it didn't have a built-in rechargeable battery. But after using it, and since it gets such good battery life, it hasn't really been an issue for me. And I was wondering, if it was a built-in rechargeable battery, would it last as long as this dedicated watch battery? Because, you get 4 months use out of it, which is pretty good. So it is water resistant, not waterproof. So you don't want to be dunking this thing, into a pail of water or something like that. It says it can withstand, light rain, light snow, that type of moisture. For me, that's not really an issue because I'm using it in winter and it's too cold for it to typically be raining where I, mostly snowboard and ride my bike. But there has been days where, I've been riding my bike and it gets super frosted over, like it's just covered in frost. And then when I get back indoors and it melts, I've never had an issue with anything. So I think it's been pretty good in terms of water resistance. Just keep in mind that if you're going to be in heavy rain, it might cause an issue for you. So this connects to you via a cloth strap. Nothing complicated here. It's just attaches via Velcro and you can cinch it up around your arm to whatever size you need for it to be nice and tight, and you're good to go. The only thing I've noticed with this strap is it's getting a little bit frayed. Like, I don't know if it's not bad, but you can see it a little bit maybe that it's a little bit frayed. But it's purely cosmetic. It hasn't caused an issue with the actual usability of it, so it's it hasn't bothered me much. And like I said, I've had this for 3 years, and it's I've been using it pretty heavily throughout the winter season, and it's held up quite well. So there's actually another cool feature that the Chubby Buttons offers. So it's advertised as a wearable Bluetooth device, but there's another thing with it. It is actually stickable, and what they mean by stickable is, so if you look on the backside of this thing, it just looks like a black rubber surface, and if you touch it, it definitely feels rubbery. But if you didn't know, you would just think it was some sort of coating they had on there. But in actuality, what it is it's millions of little suction cups. They say millions. I don't know if there's actually millions, but they say there's millions of little suction cups on there that allow you to stick this Chubby Buttons to a flat, smooth surface. So for me, when I'm working in the garage on the bikes or on the snowboards, I'll often have a Bluetooth speaker connected to my phone. So what you could do is you take the Chubby Buttons and you stick it, to a toolbox or to the wall or to the window, and then you're able to much more easily control the music from where you are. So if I'm like waxing the snowboard and for whatever reason I just need to change the track that instance, I can just reach over and hit the button and it's easy. Without having to, fumble with my phone again. So that's kind of a cool feature. Honestly, I don't use it very often, and it's mostly just because I forget about it. It's not that big of a deal. But, if you're someone that's in the garage a lot and your hands are, greasy or whatever it is, this might be a nice option for you to control your audio. So the device also allows you to control the shutter on your phone's camera app. So you can imagine you're with a group of friends and you want to grab a group photo of yourselves. You can take your phone, open up the camera app, set that in front of you, and then control the shutter via the Chubby Buttons. So if you look here, the volume up button, right below it, there's a little symbol of a camera. I don't know if it actually shows up, but you just use that to release your shutter, and you can take that photo super easy. So that's kind of a cool feature. I've never actually used it. I often forget about it, so I've never used it, but I'll try and keep that in mind for future. So how well does this thing actually work? Well, for me, it does exactly what it said it would do. It allows me to easily control the music or podcasts or whatever I'm listening to via these buttons, and that's it. That's all it really does, and that's all I really needed it to do. And granted, it allows you to bring up Siri or your Android Assistant. I think you just hold your play button here, play pause button for a couple seconds, and it'll bring up your assistant. And then you can do whatever you need to do from that. For me, I never use Siri on my iPhone, so it's not really a big deal for me. But if that's important to you, it's there. So the Chubby Buttons will also allow you to manage your phone calls. So you can take a call or you can decline a call via the play button on here. And on the Android phones only, you can also mute and end a call. So for some reason, that's only available on Android and not on iPhone, and they make a specific point of that on the website. There was just something with the APIs into iOS that just didn't work, so they couldn't get it working. So if you're an Android user, you can mute and end a call. If you're an iPhone user, you're a little bit out of luck on that. So for me, I never take calls on my phone, especially if I'm riding my bike or snowboarding. So again, this is a feature that I just don't use, but if that's something that's important to you, it's there for you as well. So there is one issue that I have had with it, and it's not a big deal, but I thought I should mention it anyways. So like I said earlier, when you're not using this thing, it just goes into a sleep mode and it wakens itself when you hit one of the buttons, and it just automatically repairs with your phone. There's been a few occasions where I wake it up and it actually doesn't pair with my phone automatically. And then I end up having to put this thing back into pairing mode and repair everything. So that's a little bit annoying because if I'm all dressed up and I have everything ready to go, and then I hit play on my music and it doesn't start, and then I got to take off my mitts and repair everything. And the problem is that because it happens so rarely, I actually always forget what the button combination is to put this thing into pairing mode. So then I got to go back to the website and look it up and figure all that out. So that, that's been a little bit of an issue, but like I said, it happens very rarely. It's only happened to me a handful of times, so it's not a huge deal, and it's definitely not something that would prevent me from buying this or using this thing. Okay, so what does this thing cost? So when I bought mine 3 years ago, it was $75, but I got a $15 discount, which meant I paid $60. So when I look on the website today, it's showing that it's $107. So I'm not sure if when I bought it, the regular price was $107 or somewhere in that range, and I just had a number of discounts or it was on sale or something. So, or I don't know if the price has just increased over the last few years and that's just the new price. So either way, watch out for a sale, because I do remember it going on sale fairly regularly, so that, it's an option for you to bring the price down. So at that price point, you're gonna have to decide whether it's worth it for you. For me, it was absolutely worth it. It does exactly what it was advertised to do, and that's what I was looking for. So it's helped me a lot, when I'm bike commuting or snowboarding, and I really enjoy using it. So honestly, there's not much to complain about. It's a simple, reliable solution for controlling your audio in situations where pulling out your phone isn't practical. Sure, the occasional pairing issue is a minor inconvenience, and the price might feel steep for some people, but the convenience far outweighs those small drawbacks for me. Plus, pressing those big buttons makes me feel like the Predator, activating his wrist gauntlet, and who doesn't want that? That's my review of the Chubby Buttons 2. If you've been thinking about picking one up, I hope this video helped you out. And if you already have one, let me know how you're using it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like, maybe even consider subscribing for more biking and review content. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe, take it easy, and be rad to each other.